And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Satellite imagery showing 3 distinct low pressure areas. One earlier today back out over the western Bering Sea here with front extending out quite a ways here, bringing some rain into the central Aleutians, and then a break right through here, and low pressure up over the, near Kotzebue Sound, band of clouds and moisture up across the Brooks Range and the North Slope down into the Yukon Flats, and then low pressure here near Kodiak Island early on. That's exiting the area, has pulled off. And so a rainy start to the day turned into a very sunny afternoon there with gusty northwest winds. And this system here driving up toward the North Gulf, or in toward the Panhandle today, putting that into motion. You can see the front getting in toward the coast. That's increasing the wind and rain, brought storm force winds here to the offshore areas of the Gulf of Alaska. And you can see the clouds clearing out, or pushing off to the east, skies clearing over Kodiak into Cook Inlet and back to the west with still some clouds out here, and kind of some light shower activity around with partial clearing that seemed to increase down toward Bristol Bay. This system pushing rain into the Pribilofs and spreading at least clouds into the eastern Aleutian areas. And this system up here pretty well stationary. Rolling that through again, you can see not really moving much up there, with rain all day across the Seward Peninsula up into Kotzebue Sound. And on the chart, there's that low about 999 millibars, and not much of a gradient with it, so wind's pretty light up through that area, and then ridging here over the southwest part of the state, and then that northwest flow off the Alaska Range clearing it out into the Susitna Valley, but still raining over at Palmer at mid-afternoon, but sunshine down through Cook Inlet to Kodiak Island, with gusty northwest winds up to 30, 35 miles an hour in gusts there in the channeled areas of the island. And then kind of a wet day with snow at the higher elevations across the southeast interior. And this system again spreading a widespread area of rain, light rain up to the southwest coast late this afternoon, and increasing wind and rain now across the Panhandle. And tonight, this little track off toward the Queen Charlotte Islands take a turn to the southeast, so that's going to take all the heavier wind and rain with it down to the southeast. So the heaviest precipitation will be over the southern Panhandle, lighter amounts up to the north. Showers gradually tapering off over the Copper River Basin area, as well as Madanuska Valley, and should see that clearing shift in over all of Cook Inlet, even the Kenai Peninsula, and the Susitna Valley staying mostly clear tonight with high pressure building in, and then rain advancing ahead of this system as that front pushes up toward the southwest coast. Winds not all that strong with this system, maybe 25, gusts 30 miles an hour along the windier areas of the coast, and that's about it. And kind of breezy and wet over the Alaska Peninsula back toward the eastern Aleutians here, and showers for the central Aleutian areas. Otherwise, this low here now kind of shifting up to the northwest coast of the western Brooks Range. That's going to keep rain and snow showers going in that area, and to a lesser extent along the Arctic coast. Then for tomorrow, that low continues to weaken right near Kivalina. So kind of unsettled up here from the Seward Peninsula up to the Noatak Valley and the western Arctic coastal areas. Better conditions eastward. See a lot of dry conditions with light winds, and could be a fair amount of sunshine here, south central Alaska up into the central interior, especially over toward the eastern areas, Copper River Basin. Much nicer day tomorrow, definitely drier, and same thing for the North Gulf Coast. And the southeast coast, that system slowly pulling off to the southeast. That's going to keep some showers going throughout the day, slowly diminishing in the afternoon for the southern Panhandle, increasing sunshine to the north with light winds. And a new low develops, or another low develops here, and that'll spread some rain up toward Kodiak Island late in the day. And then the outlook for Wednesday, this low tracks into the Aleutian Range, and then that other low tracks up to the northeast Gulf of Alaska. So wet conditions across all of southern Alaska, actually all the way up to the Brooks Range. Looks pretty cloudy and wet here for the day Wednesday. Sharp ridge of high pressure dries it out with light winds, maybe some sunshine. Adak and Atka pushing in toward the Pribilofs, and that ahead of the next front, bringing increasing wind and rain here across all of the western Bering Sea and the western Aleutians in the afternoon hours. And this front, again, brings an increase in the wind and rain into the southeast coast, especially in the afternoon hours. And for the lows tonight, down that way in the 40s for the southeast coast. Otherwise, 30s here. See the clearing, maybe some dropping down to around the frost point for the Susitna Valley and Copper River Basin as well. So skies clear out, and in the central interior here, upper 20s to lower to mid 30s, and warmer out toward the Bering Sea in the 40s there, followed by highs tomorrow 50s, mid 50s here, south central Alaska, Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay. 40s up over the interior areas north of the Alaska Range, also back to the west, 40 to 45 in the chillier air over the northern Bering Sea and the Seward Peninsula, and mostly in the 40s for the North Slope and near 40 for the central Arctic coast, and highs 55 to 60 there for the Panhandle, followed by lows again in the mid to upper 40s here for the southeast coast, in the 40s, Kenai Peninsula up into the Susitna Valley, mid 30s for the Copper River Basin, and generally in the 30s here, much of the central interior back down in toward Bristol Bay, with mid-20s for the Brooks Range and mid-30s for the Arctic coast on down into the Bering Strait, with lows mostly in the mid-40s for the Aleutians. And then the highs here, 50 to 55 for the Aleutians, near 50 for the Pribilofs, and lower to mid-50s Bristol Bay, mid-50s Kodiak Island, upper 40s to lower 50s. Now clouds and rain back in over the area here, keeping the temperatures down, near 50 for the Copper River Basin, and in the 50s for the southeast coast. Otherwise, mostly in the 40s, central interior, but the Brooks Range to the Arctic coast, mid-30s to mid-40s. And for the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, looking a little cooler than normal here in the southwest interior into the Alaska Peninsula, and near normal over the remainder of the state temperature-wise. Precipitation-wise, drier than normal here along the mid and lower Yukon River valleys and toward Kotzebue Sound, Kobuk Valley areas, and a little bit wetter than normal, possibly here for the southeast interior and the northern Panhandle. And then for the temperature outlook, 8 to 14 days, warming up a little bit up here over the eastern Brooks Range, still on the cool side in the southwest.